Hey, it's Soul here to chat about what I'm seeing as the most interesting things about patch 10.2 so far. These are just opinions, they can change, and I invite you to share your own too. Hit the like button, subscribe for more 10.2 coverage, and let's start with Dragonriding glyphs. There's a round of glyphs to collect in the new Emerald Dream Zone. There are 6 in all and unlock some useful abilities. The first is Wind's Respite. You know that one button, Aerial Halt, that lets you stop in midair, but you probably never even put it on your bar? Wind's Respite makes it so that when you do hit Aerial Halt, you no longer immediately start losing altitude. It now gives a 4-second delay before it happens. I definitely remember giving feedback on the original ability, like, hey, can we not immediately start falling? And it looks like they put it in a way that I don't prefer, but no big deal. We got it, and now I can pause for a moment to find that herb that I flew past. The other new ability is called Swift Skimming. Now, skimming is quite useful. It lets you build your vigor back up when you're flying low. And with this, you can skim regardless of your speed, so overall, you're actually getting vigor back even faster. The risk is that you're flying even lower to the ground. Both of these are still great quality of life improvements. Next, we have these things called Shipments. Now, what are Shipments? I actually don't know, but I still find them very interesting. Over in the new zone, there's an NPC that calls up the crafting UI, but it asks for different sorts of materials and they want a lot of them. Turning them in gets you a box, and turning this box in will get you something, I just don't know what it is. It's probably going to be pretty compelling though. Some of you may have noticed that there are a lot of resources available on the region auction house, and prices have pretty much tanked. This feature is not so subtly designed to chip away at this massive overabundance of supply. So a small tip, consider buying up some of these cheap materials now because they might skyrocket and then flip them for a profit. The Great Vault will start working for Mythic Zeros and even Heroic Dungeons. Now it's going to work exactly the way that you think it does, where the Vault is going to give rewards based on the highest dungeons that you've done. I'm super stoked for people who just run the daily heroic for the champion gear quest, and now they can get something from the Great Vault to choose from as well. This even works for time walking events. The only thing that I find a little bit weird is that the gear from the vault is going to be from the current season, even though queuing up for the daily heroic, that's going to access Dragonflight dungeons, and only 2 of them are going to be part of the upcoming season. Old school flying is finally coming to the Dragon Isles, but it's coming with a catch. Your favorite achievement, Pathfinder, that's standing right in front of it. According to the current PTR build, in order to unlock this achievement, you're going to need to reach Renown level 15 with all of the Dragon Isles Renown factions, including the new one, the Dream Wardens, as well as explore the zones and complete the main storylines from the Dragonflight launch zones and Zerlite Cavern. What's interesting is that this is coming now. Little hints here and there have people speculating that 10.2 might be Dragonflight's last major story patch. Bringing back old school flying means hovering, which some would argue it fully disconnects players from the game world. If we look back at Pathfinder history, historically this isn't something that the WoW team does until they're pretty much done adding new areas to explore. Of course, maybe this speculation is totally wrong. Maybe 10.3 won't introduce any new zones, but will be returning to the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. Maybe there will be a new zone, but there's no flying or dragon riding at all. Or maybe there's gonna be a new Pathfinder achievement that'll be introduced, or maybe there really won't be a 10.3. Personally, I'm not gonna take any speculation off the table. We got some really great news on the Revival Catalyst and how it works. It's now going to work on the very first week of Season 3, something folks have been clamoring for forever. But the reason is specifically to match the fact that we can upgrade our gear pretty freely. There is a bit of a catch though, where you'll only get 1 charge every 2 weeks. This is down from once a week after it activated. The only minor concern that I have is that for those of us who collect transmog appearances with the help of the Catalyst, it's going to take that much longer and will potentially earn much more gear than what the Catalyst can take care of. As for some early feedback, that feels a little bit bad, and I'd like to see the rate go up to once a week after we're a good ways into the season's over. So like I said, it's just a minor concern that comes from personal experience. There's going to be an experimental solo queue brawl, this time for battlegrounds. 16 players, 8 per team, will get together in the Octagon, or a modified battleground, to duke it out for honor and conquest. It's the same as any brawl. The results of this experiment will determine whether solo queue rated battlegrounds could become a thing in a future season or the next expansion. Mechanically, it's still just battlegrounds, only with total randos and consequences as one climbs the ladder. Just like Solo Shuffle, lots of folks have been asking for this. I know the increased accessibility could make for a huge uptick in traffic, but you're also going to get folks like me in there with like no experience, no skill, but hey dude, I really want that mount. So yeah, it can easily get toxic as all heck, but hey, it's worth keeping an eye on. The upgrade system is getting a touch-up based on lessons learned from Season 2. Some changes are great, some need a bit of copium to get you through, so listen up. Crests are now going to sit on the currency tab, so hey, no more inventory issues. Crest fragments are no longer going to be a thing, so I don't know these numbers, but presumably clearing a dungeon or a raid boss is going to grant a whole crest. Now, I'm assuming that the system is going to stick to their mandate that upgrades are a 100% predictable thing with no RNG. Here's another change. Whenever you happen to hit the season cap for a certain crest, you're going to automatically receive the next crest down. So let's say you're capped on aspects and you run 16s, you're going to get worms instead until the following week, of course, when the season cap goes that much higher. The bad news is that they're going to nerf how many crests you can obtain per week and per level. Right now it's 10 per week, as in 10 whelps, 10 drakes, 10 worms, and 10 aspects. That number is going to go down to 6. While it is a nerf, at least from observations, I've noticed that folks aren't really sweating that too much. Many critiques on crests have focused on two key points, wanting to trade them over to alt and wanting to trade them up to higher ones. Now sadly there's no news on trading them to alt, but there will be something in place to upgrade lower crests to the next level, but there are a few restrictions. Here's the example that was part of this week's PTR build notes. Using Season 2 item level numbers, players would become eligible to trade their Whelpling crests up to Drake crests when every gear slot had reached item 411 or higher. Trading up to Worm crests would become available at 424, again in every gear slot, using the same rules as crest redundancy. And trading up to Aspect crests would open at 437. My take on it, this is generally really great, if not just a little bit restrictive. Thinking of my own behavior as a player, I'm gonna kind of climb my way up the item level ladder, picking up crests from most sources and slowly upgrading my way through the ranks. Now there might be spots where I'm struggling to hit that item level 437 threshold, which is likely going to be with trinkets. I have the worst luck with trinkets, so maybe it's going to be hard to get a champion level trinket somewhere. And it might not even be what I want to actually use, but no doubt there's going to be times where I'm going to upgrade some piece of gear, like anything, just to hit that 437 in that final slot, and then the gates open up, and then I can blow all the crests that I have by using them or upgrading lower ones. I think overall this works out well because it lets folks farm easier difficulties in the hopes of trading crests to higher levels. But the restricting of having all gear be at that certain level rather than just average item level, that's going to prevent super degenerate behavior like powering up a single trinket. Finally, and we're still on the upgrade stuff, the hero and upgrade tracks are having 1 level added to them. So hero gear will have 6 levels, myth gear will have 4 levels. Now, we're not too sure what this means yet because the loot tables on the PTR aren't accurate, but this could mean an overall maximum item level increase. If so, the added ranks are going to make fully upgraded gear the equivalent of top-end Mythic Plus and Raid gear, minus the extremely rare category of drops with that bonus item level. By comparison, it looks like crafted gear is going to be 3 item level lower. Of course, considering that you can customize most of your crafted gear, that seems to balance out. Finally, there is this new enchant thing called an Incandescent Essence. It's a special helmet enchant that you can reuse, and it's earned from raids. The description doesn't indicate there's a difference with what difficulty is run. It's earned over a 5-week period, and at some point a catch-up will be put in place to probably just get it right away. At first glance, this reads as a soft nerf to the raid after so many weeks, and the enchant doesn't work in PvP, so no worries there. For now, those are the more interesting things that I think are coming in 10.2. Are they good or bad? The jury's still out. We got a lot of PTR builds to go with plenty of iteration to happen, and if history's any indication, some more cool things could be dropped into test like each week. Let us know what you think of this in a comment below, like the video, subscribe for more coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.